Hello, everybody. My name is Christian, and I'm with the Disruptive Chef Media. And today I wanted to talk to you on how to move from passion to profits and how to build a culinary brand that actually stands out. So, once again, my name is Christian. I'm a host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show. And as you guys know, on Mondays, we have our interviews with some of the great people we have met. And then on Friday, there's just me. And today I want to talk to you guys about how to build a brand that actually stands out in food service. So, before we get going, if you could please mark this episode or share it with a friend or somebody who you feel can benefit from it, we really, really appreciate it. And today's episode, we're going to teach you between 5 and 7 practical, hard earning tips you can implement tomorrow to have a better life for yourself, for your family, and for your career. Also, I will share a few stories on some of the things we are working on and we are struggling with currently for as an organization. And finally, I wanted to make sure that you have all the resources you need, if you're a consultant, a coach, or if you're currently a chef in any of the other locations, that you get some value out of it. And for us, what we want to do is just show you what we do with our Table for One leadership and some of the other courses we have out there. So again, my name is Christian, and let's get into it. But before we start, I want to make sure if you're an inspiring chef, a food truck dreamer, or somebody who is tired of working for somebody else's restaurant, and you want to build your own next thing, then this episode is for you. And there's also a negative at it because most culinarians fail because they focus too much on the food and not enough on their business. That's one of the things we have learned. And I'm here to promise you that we're going to share some top tips and tricks you can implement to have a better brand, a better consulting business, or whatever you want to do out there, and that you can have those impacts as quick as tomorrow. So our first thing is we wanted to talk about is how do you solve a problem with flavor? So I talk about this all the time. You don't just create dishes, you really solve a problem in the marketplace. So there's a question I have. What cravings, what culture, or what convenience items are you currently tapping into? And that's really important because if you are a Filipino pop-up restaurant and you tap into, some of the nostalgia and modern delivery services, you're um, going to market strategy is going to be different if you do Italian restaurant or something else. So just remember that the key takeaway is that positioning your concept like a solution is much better than just offering a menu. The second thing we want to offer with you is build a brand, not just a menu. So, what do I mean by that? What's your story? What's your vibe? What's your signature visual, audio, or social style? Because all of that is going to be different, depends on what you do. So, remember that people who feel that or that you are more than just a brand, or that your brand is more than just flavor. So it's really important to do that. So for me, over the years, we helped clients to turn late night taco hustle into a lifestyle branding, a lifestyle changing brand. And we can do this not just with a late night taco. We can do this with so many different things. But for us, we wanted to make sure that people understood that we don't want to do just a brand or a menu, that we want to create something which is beyond that. Because there's one tip we have for you is that if you create a brand guide, even if it's just colors, font, story, and tone, it will help you as you move through the process. Because for us, as we started the Fisher Research Group, I hired my first director of marketing, and she said, "Hey, what colors do we use? What is our language? What are some of the words we always using?" And for me, it was a key takeaway that we building a brand and not just a menu. So that's really, really important. So the next thing is I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how to get hyper local and how to dominate your corner. And for me, that's really important because don't just try to win the world, win the corner and then scale, because otherwise it could look or be very taunting. And this way, it's much easier for you to do that. Be the go-to in your neighborhood or your niche, because that's really important, and collaborate with other brands, breweries, farmers market, whatever is out there for you to own your zip code, and then create your brand and create your empire from there. So really, really important. Get hyper local so you can dominate your corner. Then the next thing I wanted to talk to you about is something we call build in public. So what do I mean by that? Because as you use social media for the journey, it's really important that you not just have the final product. Let's bring people into your world. Let them peek a little bit behind the scenes. What are some of the sourcing things? What are some of the recipe failures you had? What are some of the branding sketches you have? Because all of those help you to build a connection. Remember, people don't buy just food, they buy your growth story. And that's for me really, really important. So don't be afraid to post before you perfect. And for me, that was a hard thing to learn because I wanted to make sure that we had it all figured out before we post. And I realized that people like messiness because messiness shows that you're working in this and that you're not just working in this, that this is real. So really, really important. The next step for me is I wanted to talk to you about something called that systems are sexy. So if you want to scale, you need an SOP before you need a sous chef. And that was also a hard thing for me to learn because um, the importance of ordering system, an inventory tracking system, customer feedback, scheduling, all of that, having that early is more important than having that extra sous chef. So for me, I call it systems are sexy because you know what, systems will help you. Because my pro tip around this is if you document now, you won't drown later, because for me, that's really, really important. The next thing I want to talk to you is partner like a pro. So what do I mean by that? Your growth is accelerated or it stalls based on who you collaborate with. So who you amplify or who do you asking to amplify your story? Who do you asking to amplify your product? Who do you amplify to have you reach or expand your reach? Because if you're using an influencer, if you're using other chefs, if you use your neighborhood business, or if you align just with a simple startup, it's really, really important that you have partners you can rely on. Because for me, the bonus around that is it doesn't just collab with people which have exposure. I honestly feel make sure that there's a mutual value in for you and the person you partner with. So partner like a bro. And the last thing I have for you is just a quick recap on this. So first off, we talked about, in the things which are important for our clients and what is important for you is that you solve not just solve, but if you have a brand and when you have that brand, that you solve real problems with flavor. And that's really, really important because, as I said, with the Filipino pop up, that if you have a cultural nostalgia and modern delivery, it does tell a story. The second thing is we build about building a brand and not just a menu, because creating a brand guide, even if it's just as simple as font, color, stories, and the tone on how you speak is really, really important. Then we talked about getting hyper local and dominate your corner, because I honestly believe your zip code is your empire starting kit. So start local, start small, and work your way up there. From then we talked about building in public. And that's something which was really hard for me. Yeah, if you use social media, document. And you hear this about a lot of people all the time. You know what? As you do this, don't be afraid to post before it's perfect, because I want people to see that we're working on this. This is a working project, and that we want to do this in public. So build in public, really, really important. Then we have finally was systems are sexy. And because if you document now, I honestly believe you are on trial lead, and that's really, really important. And finally is partner like a pro. Don't just collab with people for exposure. Make sure that it has mutual value. My name is Christian. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show. Hopefully, there was some value for you today. And if there's somebody you can think of who can benefit from today's episode, please share on that episode. And then also, if you have any comments, please let us know below. We read every single one of them because we want to provide value to you, our listeners. So with that, I want to say thanks for being here again. My name is Christian. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show. And just know I'm doing this for you. I want to make sure that you know exactly what we do on a daily basis, that you know exactly what are some of the things we're struggling about. And then so you also know what are the things we're focusing on. Been really lucky that we built a very successful business. And if you are looking for some mentorship, we have the Devil for One Leadership, which is our coaching program. I would love for you to check it out. So with that, I want to say thanks for being here today. My name is Christian. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show, and I see you next Friday. Thanks, everybody.